Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam namaskritya naram chaiva naram tamam devim saraswati vyasam tatvajan viraya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Cantic 7, Chapter 9, Text 45. Yan Metunari Vihamedi Sukam Hi Ducham Yamai Tunari Vihamedi Sukam Hi Ducham Kanduya Nena Karayo Iva Dukam Kanduya Nena Karayo Iva Dukam Tripyanti Neha Kripana Bahu Duka Vajaha Tripyanti Neha Kripana Bahu Duka Vaja Kandukivan Manasiyam Vishayeta Iraha Kandukivam Manasiyam Vishayeta Iraha Yamai Tunadi Vihamedi Sukam Hi Ducham Kanduya Nena Karayo Iva Dukam Tripyanti Neha Kripana Bahu Duka Vaja Kanduki Vamanasiyam Vishaheta Diraha Yametunadi Vihamedi Sukam Hi Ducham Kanduya Nena Karayo Iva Dukam Tripyanti Neha Kripana Bahu Duka Vaja Kanduki Vamanasiyam Vishaheta Diraha that which is meant for material sense gratification. Metunadi, represented by talking of sex, reading sexual literature, or enjoying sex life, at home or outside, Griyamedi Sukam, all types of material happiness based on attachment to family, society, friendship, etc. He, indeed, Duchang, insignificant. Ganduyanena, with the itching. Karayo, of the two hands, to relieve the itching. Eva, like. Dukkha, dukkham, different types of unhappiness, into which one is put after such itching sense gratification. Tripyanti, become satisfied. Na, never. Iha, in material sense gratification. Kripana, the foolish persons. Bahuduka Bajaha, subjected to various types of material unhappiness. Kanduti Bhat, if one can learn from such itching. Manasi Jam, which is simply a mental concoction. Actually, there is no happiness. Vishayata, and tolerates such itching. Viraha, he can become a most perfect sober person. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sex life is compared to the rubbing of two hands to relieve an itch. Grihamedis, so-called grihastas, who have no spiritual knowledge, think that this itching is the greatest platform of happiness, although actually it is a source of distress. The Kripanas, the fools who are just the opposite of Brahmanas, are not satisfied by repeated sensuous enjoyment. Those who are Dhira, however, who are sober and who tolerate this itching, are not subjected to the sufferings of fools and rascals. Purport. Materialists think that sexual indulgence is the greatest happiness in this material world. And therefore, they make elaborate plans to satisfy their senses, especially the genitals. This is generally found everywhere, and specifically found in the Western world, where there are regular arrangements to satisfy sex life in different ways. Actually, however, this has not made anyone happy. Even the hippies, who have given up all the materialistic comforts of their fathers and grandfathers, cannot give up the sensational happiness of sex life. Such persons are described here as kripanas, misers. The human form of life is a great asset, and for in this life one can fulfill the goal of existence. Unfortunately, however, because of a lack of education and culture, people are victimized by the false happiness of sex life. Prahlad Maharaj therefore advises one not to be misled by this civilization of sense gratification, and especially not by sex life. Rather, one should be sober, avoid sense gratification, and be Krishna conscious. The lusty person who is compared to a foolish miser never gets happiness by sense gratification. The influence of material nature is very difficult to suppress. But as stated by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 7 text 14, Mameva ye prapadyante, mayam itam taranti te. If one voluntarily submits to the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be saved very easily. In reference to the low-grade happiness of sex life, Yamanujacharya says in this connection, Yadavadi Mama Cheta Krishna Padaravinde Nava Rasa Damanu Yati Randun Asit. Tadavadi Bhata Nari Sangame Smaryan Mane Bhavati Mukta Vikaraha Shushtu Nishtivanam Cha. Translated as, since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl with distaste. Yamanu Acharya had formerly been a great king who enjoyed sexual happiness in various ways. But since he later engaged himself in the service of the Lord, he enjoyed spiritual bliss and hated to think of sex life. If sexual thoughts came to him, he would spit with disgust. Translation again, sex life is compared to the rubbing of two hands to relieve an itch. Vihamedis, so-called Vihastas, who have no spiritual knowledge, think that this itching is the greatest platform of happiness, although actually it is a source of distress. The Kripanas, the fools who are just the opposite of Brahmanas, are not satisfied by repeated sensuous enjoyment. Those who are Dhira, however, who are sober and who tolerate this itching, are not subjected to the sufferings of fools. Shitejana Krishna Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upadam Vedati Swapadam Nikam Anekam Shikuru Shikita Kamalam Shikurum Vaishnavam Cha Shikupam Shakatatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitantam Sakyam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhina Bandhu Jagat Pate Krishna Vikanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vindamanishwari Swaham Sudhadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaitam Suratu Pango Mama Manda Matyagrati Matsarasva Padam Gojo Radha Madana Mukano Panchakapa Tariveshcha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Pranamagane Yogai Shri Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Shri Govinda, my Posachi, Kakarati Vacharam Panguna, Ganga Giri, Privata Mahamandeshi, Guru Dinatana. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasaya Taleshi, Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Nidinamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine, Nidesesha, Shunyamani, Pastachari, Nidesakune, Jai Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Radha, Sri Gauravakuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very interesting, what do you call it, text here. It reminds me of something. So when I started working in London, I was taught a new word, sexy. They would always say, "Oh, that's I like your shoes. That's really sexy. I like the boss's new car. That's really sexy." Really strange way of identifying things in their beauty or so-called beauty. But I think the point of this text is that if we don't actually practice religious activities, then we're no different from the animals and beasts that surround us in this world. So, the four activities that are inherent in all of us is eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And these are the four material bodily demands common to both man and animal. So we are distinguished by our capacity and ability to perform religious activities in terms of social status and orders of life, as per the Varnashrama that Krishna gave us. All these are clearly mentioned in Vedic literature as per the four Vedas, which were generated by the four mouths of Lord Brahma. I see the right. However, this our civilization, modern civilization, has become rather degraded, and therefore eating, sleeping, defending, and mating has misled man into forgetting how powerful our soul really is. Prabhupada described the soul as something incredible and beautiful. He said that it's a spiritual spark that many times more illuminating, dazzling, and powerful than the sun, the moon, or even electricity. And not realizing our true identity, the soul, human life can easily be wasted and be spoiled, pursuing the activities of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Now, what does Krishna say about sex or sex life, as Prabhupada used to put it? In chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita, text 11, Krishna says, Dharma Virudo Bhuteshu Karmashmi. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. So Prabhupada explains that sex life is actually not banned or prohibited to us, that it should be abstained from to achieve perfection in yoga. And it is allowed only for begetting children and raising them in Krishna consciousness. If you are married properly to a partner, it should be abstained, he says. And I think we know what abstaining means. It means austerity, and austerity is something that everybody has to do in order to perfect one's spiritual being. I think as most people that get involved with fitness and all that, there is a catchphrase: no pain, no gain. But in fact, it's not a pain, because the pain is just material, it's got nothing to do with your soul. Love for God is actually the most natural thing for every living entity, and what we see around us in the material world is a perverted reflection, and that is lust. In the Gita, or Bhagavad Gita, to be precise, chapter 4, text 34, we are advised to find a liberated soul who has full knowledge of everything and connected to the supreme truth. Why is that? Because the liberated soul is actually free from attachment to the material world. He does not pursue the needed material bodily demands of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating like an animal. Everything is controlled and has its appropriate function. So liberated soul is basically a person, whether it's a he or a she, who is devoid even of a slight tinge of lust. And therefore the truth, as Prabhupada puts it, as it is spoken by that person. Now, by hearing from a liberated soul, we have an opportunity to understand the material world and its dark secrets. And there are many dark secrets in this material world, and many of which roads that we don't really want to go down to. If you are lucky and you are right from the beginning educated in Krishna consciousness, that would be the best gift or mercy from God. why Prabhupada explains that if you are born Krishna conscious, you are that natural love of God can never deteriorate into lust. What other qualities are there in a pure devotee? A pure devotee never actually feels perfection. He feels imperfection in his or her service. And this imperfection is explained by Sri Prabhupada is the transcendental engine that drives us to pursue love for God. And therefore, re-establishing our original position as unlimited in our feelings for God and our desire to serve Him. The problem arises when this pure love is diverted onto any object which is in this material world, and be it a wife, husband, family, society, mankind, or even an intergalactic population. Because at the end, it will only bring frustration, it will not be happiness. Money and power cannot actually satisfy your lust, because lust is just a perverted feeling of love. Prabhupada said that if from the beginning you cannot control your senses, then you are ajitendriya, which is what, and you find it in society, that you're being educated only for sense gratification. I think you see it around you, and you see whether it's publicities or on television, etc. I was told by a famous marketing person when I was working in London that the way to sell something is to make it funny or sexy. And it's a really, really, really terrible sort of conclusion he came to. And I said, how about the truth? He said, the truth doesn't make money. And in a big way, in many ways, he was right. And I just trying to look for examples, and then he showed me. He said, look, we're selling industrial buildings, so we can't be too funny. So except for the fact that perhaps that the industrial building gives you a tax dodge, legal tax dodge, so we can laugh at the taxman because they can't get your money. But we can make it really sexy because we can put a nice couple dressed really well in what you call sexy clothes, which means that for me, I think it's designer clothes, very expensive, things I wouldn't wear, and for things that probably won't last very long anyway. Prabhupada goes on to say that when you are ajitendriya, you are educated in only sense gratification, then your entire life will be wasted and misused. And then, and what you attain at the end of that life is that you will transmigrate to another body, and that unfortunately may not be human. One of the 4 regular principles is gambling, and you will see gambling means risk taking. If you involve in intoxication, eating of meat, fish, or eggs, and sense gratification, you're gambling. You're putting your soul on the line, and taking a bet on material life. And it's if you go to a casino or even play a slot machine, you will never be a winner, and that's material life. You're not going to get 3 cherries every day, and then you get jackpot. Life is so brief, and so gambling is just much too risky for you to get bogged down in it. After all, what is a bit of the past here? Austerity and austerity. Prabhupada explains that is the one guarantee that will prevent you from being embodied as a cat, dog, or hog when you come to the end of that life journey. I was thinking very deeply about this because what we can do to prevent ourselves going down all these sense gratification roads, especially that of the genitalia, and is it actually in I think chapter 5 of this canto, Prahlad Maharaj actually lists out the 9 activity processes of devotion, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. This is very much. I'm going to remember it. That can be looked at as a guideline to spiritual martial arts, self-defense, to protect yourself from Maya, yeah. Because if you're not into self-defense, you're into self-offense, okay. And it's really what you call it, quite sad and very distressing. I think if you actually do that. But when you know that there are these processes that you can rely upon, then you won't actually, fall down into a rut which has no escape. So, in this text, we're talking about sex life. So, I mean, sex life is actually self-offense, basically. Then, as I thought more and more, I was just thinking, for this chapter, this verse, I was actually walking down the slope after my service, going down in the dark, and I think it was full moon. It was Thursday evening. It was a full moon, beautiful.
Yeah.
I think you confirmation from an astrologer there. I was looking at the panorama that I could behold as I walked down, and I said, how beautiful that is. Krishna has put something so beautiful before my eyes, and yet, and the moon was so bright that even the ominous clouds that were covering the sky seemed so how do you call it, insignificant, because the moon was so bright and brave, and I didn't even need to turn on my mobile phone torch to see the road. Now I looked at that beauty and I thought that was my body and I abused it. It would be like tearing down all those beautiful houses you see in their lights on the rolling slopes and hills and building skyscrapers. And suddenly you see a mini New York down there, but we're really capable of doing such silly things to ourselves, and you can destroy beauty. And the thing is that beauty actually lies in love, and lust is actually the ugly sister of love. They try and in this world of diplomacy and politically correct terminology, sex is actually called making love. I mean, where's the love that is made? I mean, love is not manufactured. Love is actually in its essence eternal, and in its original state, it serves as the evergreen incentive for unalloyed sentiment for your creator, your original father. So I think it is actually, when I look at the four regular principles, I think gambling is what we were indulging in that brought us to this material world. We took on a chance on trying to, how you call it, live our desires, and thinking that we would be in control and we could get out anytime. Gambling, you will find, is one of the drugs in the world which is considered legal, unfortunately. You just have to go to Las Vegas and you can see how legal it is, and people lose money there. You don't talk about the people who lose money and can't repay, because those people usually don't survive. If you lose money to bad people, you forget about seeing another morning. That's why Prabhupada always stressed this phrase. He was said, simple living and high thinking. Because if you actually complicate your living, then you simply die. It's not living at all. So the solution, as mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj, how can you actually achieve that? Prabhupada said that one of the best ways to actually install deities in your house, and all your Shravan, Kirtanan, etc., would actually fall in place. And I for one, I've experienced that when I first got into Krishna consciousness. I searched up for deities, and I got Goni Dai from a friend of mine who gave me with the strict instructions on how to worship them. And I understand. Then when I actually got to read the 7th canto, 5th chapter, text 23-24, about Prahlad Maharaj's advice on how to carry out religious process, it all clicked then. I think this you could, I think you could actually look at this text and say, well, health and wealth is something that comes from your heart. Just like love, and it's health and wealth is actually not in your pocket. Give this love. My godbrother, who's a psychologist, said that unfortunately we live in a world where a lot of people have their brains below the belt. I think it's a terrible way to say it, but I understood it immediately. And and the best advice is actually in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna actually repeats it twice in 926 and 1865. Manmanam Bhavamat Bhattav Madhyaji Manamastu. Be my devotee and always think of me. I've said this before, that Krishna says that twice. Why? Because he actually thinks of us all the time, and he's devoted to us. That's why he gives us all these beautiful scriptures to help us, like a guidebook on how to drive a car. And he sent really great teachers like Srila Prabhupada to actually make sure that we understood all this literature. So I've got nothing else to say. If you've got any comments, observations, or bad tomatoes, literature. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You were mentioning that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the sex life which is according to the Vedic principles.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada explains that sex life is not completely banned. It can be performed in proper Vedic rituals.
Not ritual. You gotta have to get married first. Then you can, and you only perform when you want to produce a child.
Yeah.
It's not ritual that every night you can perform it. It's not Arctic in the bed.
But the translation here says that the translation has
Yeah.
says sex life is compared to rubbing two hands to relieve an itch. So it is recommended to tolerate. It is in this translation.
In this,
recommended-
I mean in this one, not the
Yeah.
Gita.
Yeah.
Right, it's rubbing two hands to relieve an itch.
Yeah. So it is recommended to tolerate whenever we have the.
Those who are dira, however, are still going to tolerate the itching. Yeah, that's what the activities actually that Prada recommends to us, like from Shravan Kirtana, etc. When we worship and we do things, we serve Krishna, then we pull all our senses, from your sight, your hearing, your smell, your taste, your touch, etc., towards serving Krishna. If you're occupied in that, like peeling potatoes, you won't have time to think about all those things that itch you, will you? Is that good? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else? Then, okay. So wish you a happy weekend and Jai Prasadam.
Govinda Prabhu ki jai.
Oh,